And off we go in the women's NCAA Division II cross-country championship. 6,000 meters ahead of these ladies. Again, 2 upsets on the men's side. How will things play out here for the ladies now that the rain has set in? You see Grand Valley State and Adams State getting off to good, and they're going to call it back again. Restarts all over the place here. This is almost exactly where they had to restart the men's race, so they'll do it again in the women's, as we must have had a fall or of some sort here. Man, you don't see 2 restarts happen very often. So there you see our field jogging back to the start line. And they'll get restarted in just a moment. This is the same thing that happened on the men's race as it started just about an hour and 15 minutes ago. So athletes going to get back into their boxes and hope to go shortly. Hopefully nobody affected by whatever caused the race to stop there. And you can just tell by the start line how truly muddy it is. Settling them back into the finish line. So we'll try this again, folks. Again, this is deja vu, as the men had to do the exact same thing. We hope this is it here. They get them rolling next, because even when the men restarted, they had another fall about 400 meters in. By that point, it was too late to restart. So here we go. Women's Division II cross-country championship, 6K, slated for a restart here, and we'll get this one underway. There's the gun. So we'll try this again. The women's 6,000 meter championship race is off here in Pittsburgh. Once again, Grand Valley State off to a nice start there with Sarah Berger. Last year's second place finisher, looking to get off to a good start with her new team. Whew, look at that downpour. It is just a mess. And this is about where we had a fall in the men's race, so we hope everyone stays on their feet. Looks like Leah Hanley of Mount Olive, who won the pre-nats race here, she settled into a good position up front. Again, folks, no cart cam because of the conditions, so we do apologize for that, but that's an NCAA decision. But we have you mostly covered here on the terrain at Shinley Park. See the fans not scared off by a little rain. The Grand Valley fans, you know, they're jacked up after their men won their first NCAA title just a few moments ago. So just about 400 meters into this ladies' race. So it's Hanley there in the green, trying to get a look at who we have up front in that darker kit. Appears to be a couple Alaska Anchorage athletes up there as well. Adams State starting to gather up front. Tough to tell who we have at the top here. Western off to a nice start. There's Konachek. So the favorite's starting to get into position just 2 minutes into this race. See a lot of ladies trailing, trying to get position. These are tight turns. We saw earlier how tight that hairpin can get. And you add in rain to this race for the women's side, and things are going to get wild. But some favorites already moving up front. So crucial today to get out to a good start. We saw with Adam State, Getabude didn't get off to the greatest start, and I think he kind of paid for that throughout the men's race. But so far up front, Berger of Grand Valley State is right up there. Leah Hanley there as well. Emma Chalimo from Alaska Anchorage. Our early leader was Kate Lilly of Seattle Pacific. It does look like she's kind of fallen off just a bit there. So there you have it. It's Berger up front. Leah Hanley there as well. Alicia Konachek there in the gray and the headband. Adam State looks like they have about Grand Valley State has 4 in the top 20, and Adam State has 3 in the top 10 right now. So Berger, her mission is clear, and her strategy is clear. It's just get out and try to hang on. It didn't work for her teammate, Zach Panning, who was the favorite coming in. But she's sticking with that strategy even with these conditions the way they are. A 1,500-meter specialist, you know, she can rely on her speed at the end of this race. She's the 1,500-meter NCAA Division II champion. And you contrast that with who's in second, Leah Hanley, the runner-up in the 10,000-meter last spring. So 2 different style athletes here going head-to-head. That's what makes cross-country so special. Of course, then you have Konachek as well, who's the NCAA record holder in the mile and the 3,000-meter steeplechase. So a lot of different styles going head-to-head, working through things in this first mile of the women's 6K. 3 loops of the Shinley Park course, which has just become ever so treacherous throughout the day, and you add in this rain, and it just gets brutal. You see some athletes trying to avoid that mud. It's tough. So they will approach the first mile shortly and should have our leaders. There's Berger from Grand Valley State, and she's starting to put a little push on this field. Konachek, Hanley, Flanagan from Adams State. There's Chalimo, and let's see, Jeptu from Alaska Anchorage. There's Emily Roberts of UMary. She's up there as well. Another Konachek sister there in the background. Do not see Sophie Seward just yet for Western Colorado, so we'll want to find her and see where she's at this early point. But right now, it's Sarah Berger from Grand Valley State, the senior transfer from Walsh, the top returner from last year. She is in the lead. Just about to start another 2K loop here. Our field chasing. There's our early update on the team scores. Very early, of course, only 700 meters in, but Grand Valley State putting themselves in good position. We saw they had about 3 or 4 in the top 15, so that bodes well for their chances going forward. Try to catch up back to these leaders in just a moment as you see some of these chase back, but here we go. We'll take a look at Berger continuing to control the race. Emily Roberts, wow. Can't say enough so far about the race she's having just about 6.5 minutes in. She was injured for the better part of 2 years, but when she's on form, Emily Roberts of UMary, a transfer from Southern Indiana, she is as good as anyone in Division II. Roberts was injured for a long time, but she's back. She was 5th 2 years in a row at Nationals for Southern Indiana in 2015 and 2016, and now running in 2nd. This would be a huge story if she can hang on. But it's Berger's race right now. Just past 7 minutes in. She had about a 2.5 second lead just ahead of the 2K marker. So Berger pressing on the gas and trying to keep ratcheting up this pace. Man, what a day so far it's been for Grand Valley State, though. They're in the lead through about the first third of this race. Scores will continue to populate here, but a third of the race, Grand Valley State has a shot, a very real shot to sweep both of the races, the men's and women's titles. Ooh, man, that would be huge. So again, the scores continuing to file through. But so far, Grand Valley State has 4 in the top 12 and all 5 in the top 23. So Grand Valley State loving this course. And if we're to believe the scores right now, even though they're still populating, Grand Valley State has over a 50-point lead over Adams State, 47-99. 47-99. My goodness. Led by Sarah Berger up front, continuing to push the pace. And her advantage about 10 meters here. And they'll be at halfway in just a few minutes. There you see Berger. Then it's Emily Roberts of UMary. Again, an incredible story for Roberts. Missed the 2017 cross-country season, was a shell of herself when she ran a little bit in the 2018 indoor season. Now she's battling it out for an individual national title. This is incredible for her. So it's Berger, Roberts, Konachek of Western Colorado, Hanley of Mount Olive, and then Ailish Flanagan of Adams State. That is your top group so far, with Berger continuing to hammer on the pace here. So our trailing athletes trickling through the field. And once we do reach halfway, which should be in about a minute and a half, we'll have an update on where our team scores. A little bit more accurate view. But again, through a third of this race, Grand Valley State had 47 points. Adams State 99. Nobody else within 100. No one else within 44 points of Adams State. Western Colorado in third, 143. Just a race being dominated by the Lakers, looking for the first time in program history to sweep both titles. And look at that, folks. 4 in the top 10 right now for Grand Valley State. They have Berger. They have Patterson up there. Allie Ludge and Hannah Grober all in that top 10 right now, and they are crushing this field. I don't know if it can be made up as the final half of this race keeps going. We have a long ways to go in this one, but Grand Valley State's margin is so big right now with 4 in the top 10 that it is going to be difficult for any team to catch them, especially on this course, this hilly course with so much mud where you really can't make up a ton of ground. You just got to grind it out. Grand Valley State has done themselves a huge favor by getting off to such a strong start. You see the fans dealing with the rain. The athletes, of course, getting it the worst. And in a moment, we'll catch up to our leaders. You see our lead bike there. And there you see Berger continuing to battle with Ailish Flanagan of Adams State. And that is Emily Roberts of UMary. Those are the 3 kind of going at it, with Hanley right there as well. Sorry, the camera kind of wasn't panned all the way back. But Berger has a nice little cushion heading into the second half of this race. So Berger, Flanagan, Hanley, Roberts, and Konachek. That's your top 5. 2 juniors in Hanley and Flanagan, and then 3 seniors, Berger, Roberts, and Konachek. And it does look like Flanagan starting to press up a little bit and maybe wanting to catch Sarah Berger as we're now 12 minutes into this race. At about halfway, the advantage for Grand Valley State is still populating, and that's not quite accurate there on your screen. We have 39-90 over Grand Valley State. So the lead may be starting to increase even for the Lakers as the battle continues to be waged up front between Berger and Flanagan. You know, we saw Berger's teammate Panning do this, just lead essentially from the gun. He got out-kicked at the end. Will that be the story there? Because in this women's race as well, because you got Konachek there, a 4:37 miler, very talented. Cross-country, not her strength, but, man, you get her in an open sprint, and I think Berger's going to have a lot on her hands. The question is, will Berger kind of outlast everyone as she's trying to do in this first half of this race? There you get a look at some of the team scores. Twists and turns of Shenley Park wreaking havoc here. There's Berger, and looks like her advantage now is growing again. So it's kind of been a yo-yo pace with her competitors trying to catch up, but just not being able to. This kind of looks like it's Berger's race to lose, but look at that. Grand Valley State, I can see 3, maybe 4 total is still in this top 10 as we are now well into the second half of this race. This is just a grinders type of a course today. Believe that's going to be 4K for Berger there. She just passed. She's got a little cushion over Flanagan, Hanley, and Konachek. See some more Grand Valley up there. And some Adams State athletes that we expected to kind of be up more in the mix. Bogina and Hunter Galvin kind of well back at this point, so that's not a great sign for Adams. And Berger now starting to maybe run away with this as we're just about 7 minutes from the finish line. A lot of racing to do, but she is in perfect position. And it could be a perfect day for her Grand Valley State program. 2 for 2 is definitely still on the table as the Lady Lakers had a big advantage at the last split. Looks like Flanagan and Roberts trying to work together to catch back up to Sarah Berger as the rain continues to pour down. Push here by Flanagan may be starting to bridge that gap. So it's not yet Berger's race entirely. It's still a long ways to go. At about 4K, she had a 4-second lead. But that looks to be shrinking as we get into the final mile. So there you see on that far left side of the course, very twisted and turns, and then very, very wet, of course. So you see Berger's advantage. It has shrunk with Flanagan right there and Roberts of UMary still right in contention. So we're still waiting for these scores to populate. Grand Valley State does appear to still be in the lead as they have 4 in the top 10, folks, at 4K. Incredible. UMary, though, starting to move up. Again, they have Roberts there in that top 3. That's huge for them. They also have Jaden Shute, Ida Narbaval in the top 15. So UMary not out of it yet either. But look at this. Flanagan going to take the lead from Berger. Wow. So they'll approach 5K in, I would say, another minute and a half. But Berger, for the first time all race, is not in the lead. Look at this mud. This is just absolute slop. Ailish Flanagan, the junior from Adams State, 9th a year ago, leading the charge with Emily Roberts, who didn't even race nationals last year, and she's running for a new team right there in 2nd. Wow. It's just an incredible story for Roberts. She was only the 7th woman on UMary's GRIAC team just 2 months ago at the September 28th opening season meet. She's risen, continued to elevate all year, and now she's battling for a national title. It will come down to those three as we're about to hit 18 minutes. At 4K, Grand Valley State 36 points to UMary 61, Adams State 79, Western Colorado 86. So that's where things stand right now. And now it's Roberts maybe starting to press on the gas as Berger looks for a little more secure footing. A big hill here awaits, and this is going to be crucial in this last mile. Who's going to run this hill the best? Again, this would be an incredible story if Roberts got the win. See all that mud just strewn everywhere. True cross country going down here. Who is going to survive this battle? Flanagan has the edge here as we're into the final kilometer. Flanagan starting to press on the gas here. Let's see if she can drop Roberts, because it does look like Berger's starting to go backwards. They were at 18:34 with a kilometer to go. Just shows you how slow this is going at 4.9K, 18:34. These are ladies that are used to running in the 17s through their 5K split, but they're not even running that for 4.9K. So it is sloppy out there, and this is true cross country. I mean, times don't even remotely matter here. As Flanagan emerges, getting some encouragement from coaches. Her advantage over Berger maybe about 5 meters. Now Berger's starting to put in a little charge here. So Berger not out of it yet. Now Roberts falls back to 3rd. All 3 ladies still in it. Who is going to crack first? It looked like it was maybe Berger, but she's right back into it. Maybe gets a second wind here, and now she's pursuing Flanagan. The 3 in contention for the titles: Ailish Flanagan of Adams State, Emily Roberts of UMary, and Sarah Berger of Grand Valley State. Everybody else 10 seconds back at least. This is going to be those 3 ladies' race to win. And Grand Valley State looks to be in great position on the team side, although Adams State still in position to strike in this last 1,000 meters. So this is going to be very, very interesting in this last half mile or so. So here we go. We should get a look at our leaders in just a moment. Looks like UMary has slotted into the 2nd position with just about a K to go. Here we go. Berger and Flanagan now going at it into the final stretch. Berger relinquished the lead, but she's got it back. And now her and Flanagan are going to battle it out for the title. There you see the final stretch here. They're going to be into the final sprint. Who has the advantage? Berger has the 1,500-meter wheels, but Flanagan possibly has the strength. Flanagan's starting to move. They are right next to each other. Roberts has been dropped. She'll get 3rd. Flanagan and Berger sprinting for a national title. Who is it going to be? Both ladies looking to win their first cross-country title. Berger was 2nd a year ago. Flanagan 9th. It is a dead sprint for the finish line. Who's going to win? You have to think the advantage is Berger, and she takes a little room here. into the final sprint. Does Flanagan have an offer there? She looks around her shoulder. That's never a good sign. And it looks like it will be Sarah Berger of Grand Valley State winning her first cross-country national title in 22:08. Ailish Flanagan second for Adams State, with Emily Roberts third for UMary. What a day for all three of those ladies, as we'll wait on the team scores to file in. Alicia Konachek will finish fourth. And here we go. Looks like we're going to get a pair from Grand Valley State in fifth and sixth. This is looking awfully good for the Lakers. So 3 are in for Grand Valley State in the top 6. Leah Hanley's going to finish next. Followed by, let's see, looks like Kayla Wooten. And then there, I believe, is Grand Valley's 4th. Adams State gets their 2nd. We're waiting on a 5th from Grand Valley State. There's Jaden Shute crossing the finish line for UMary, so they have 2. Kennedy Roofner next for Western Colorado. There's Annetta Konachek. I believe that's 3 for them, but there is the 5th for Grand Valley State. That may seal it for them, folks. They may have just swept the men's and women's titles here at the 2018 NCAA Division II Cross Country Championships. We'll wait on the final score, but it looks awfully good for Grand Valley State and their women looking to win the title. So Sarah Berger gets the win, 22:07. With Ailish Flanagan in second, 22:12. Emily Roberts, what a day for her, in third, 22:15. Konachek of Western Colorado in fourth. But the story, my goodness, folks, 4, you heard me right, 4 in the top 10 for Grand Valley State. And let's see, all of their 5 were in the top 30.